term is remove friction from global payments. This is the point at which there's the highest friction, the highest error rates, and the slowest experience. So I think one of the reasons why Ripple has been successful is because we've been very focused on one use case. There's a lot of things going on in the blockchain world, and there's companies that So let's take a moment to talk about understanding that problem. Some of you all may have noticed as you've been downstairs some airline chairs. Now, some people who work at Ripple thought that those were airline chairs because they used it as a demonstration because our expense policy doesn't allow them to sit in the big seats. And they sat down in them, they grabbed the CFO of Ripple, Ron Will, and they're like, hey, look, how can I do this? I fly to Kuwait, how can I sit in these seats? That's not the problem we're here to talk about. I often point to the fact that if you wanted to move $10,000 to London today, if you wanted to move $10,000 to Kuwait today, the fastest way to do that is to get a car, drive to SFO, and fly the 14 or 16 hours to Kuwait such that you have the money there. That's a crazy statement. In a world where I can stream video from the space station, literally, I can't move my own value efficiently between networks. So one is, it is slow. The second is, I'm always amazed, Swift has a reported error rate of 6%. Imagine if 6 out of every 100 Google searches you did had a failed result. That's a crazy statement. We have an observer to our board of directors and yet Amazon, their marketplace, which is a huge piece of their business, they can only pay out in 19 currencies. And that is a hodgepodge of integrations around the world, ranging from India to China to the EU. Now, if you think about the implication of that to more tangibly a business, we have had conversations with other networks, other marketplaces like Uber. Uber knows that if they can pay their drivers more frequently, the retention of their drivers goes up. Uber has a big challenge in that people join to become drivers and then they churn out. That means that Uber has to go acquire new drivers. That's not a great thing. Now, some of you probably took a taxi here this morning. When you got out of the taxi, you either paid them in cash or you paid them with a credit card, which frankly would settle in a couple days. In contrast, when you're using Uber, the Uber drivers get paid every 2 weeks. Why is it they get paid every 2 weeks? How can we reduce the friction so every time you get out of an Uber, the Uber driver gets paid? Uber wants that to happen, and despite being obviously a major player, the friction even associated for someone like that is challenging. Our vision is to truly enable global payments such that you can plug in with one API, and whether you're seeking liquidity, whether you're seeking a payment into a payment network, whether you're seeking a payment to a bank, to reduce that friction such that it is real-time and extremely low cost. By doing that, we think we can let RippleNet truly scale to serve a new set of customer demands on time and demand in real time. Again, we are all witnessing a generation grow up that are sometimes pejoratively described as millennials. They expect real time. They've grown up with the expectation that this is going to be a real-time experience. They can click on their phone and have ice cream delivered in 30 minutes. I do love ice cream. Let's not criticize that. So we can make them low cost. We can truly get a dramatic reduction in the error rate such that they're not failures and deliver an elegant experience both to banks and to their customers. Ripple has been fortunate to have some really profound momentum. Many of the reasons are the customers here in the room. As a cross-section, we have announced over 100 customers. These are a handful of names. Again, many of them are in the room, ranging from Siam Commercial, Amex, Santander,